So here we go. Welcome, everyone. Today is September 1st. Happy September. And this is the group coaching call for the 100K Challenge. Nice to have you all here. Happy it's almost fall, and I'm really struggling with that personally, but here we are in September.
I can't believe it's September.
I know.
Where the heck did the year go?
I know. It's a tough one. I think it's...
Well, I know where mine went.
Into a packing box. I know, Coach Janet. I know.
To a real estate transaction out the yin-yang. But, yeah, so it's an exciting time because fall is kind of like the leaves fall, and you kind of plan for the end of the year and kind of plan for what's going to come next year. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yep, it is a perfect staging time for a lot of things. Before you kick into the crunch of fourth quarter, third quarter is always a good planning, a good reality check of where you are, what you've planned for, what you achieved, what you need to adjust. Agreed. So I wanted to loop back and say that the call that we had on the 18th, I really did enjoy it. I appreciated it, and I listened, and I did take notes. And one of the underlying things that the clients were talking all about was social media and their need for more information, their need for clarity, their need for sequence to really understand how it can work in their business. So I had just come out, we had all just come out of the UMS Ultimate Millionaire Summit, a.k.a. the alumni event, and I had the pleasure of spending a little bit of time with one of the Live Out Loud team members, a gentleman by the name of Thomas Holland, that is fairly new into this side of the Live Out Loud community. I think, Thomas, as I remember, you're a Big Table client, made good.
I am.
And I enjoyed spending time with you. I really felt that you were amazingly knowledgeable at what you do. And when I kept hearing the clients talk about social media, it just rang through saying, we have someone on staff that can really share insights and experience and answer some really great questions. So, Thomas, you've taken time out of your schedule. I know Live Out Loud keeps you busy. So tell us about your business. Just give us an introduction about what you do so that we understand that.
Sure. So my name is Thomas Holland. I want to thank you all for having me on the call today. My business is the Dark Horse Group, and just like you, I went through a 3 Days to Cash or $100,000 challenge and then became a Big Table member and loved every second of it. And in a quick explanation of what we do is we help businesses make money online. So that means not only creating a website to where you can sell and inform people about your products and services, but get people there who are interested in buying your products and services, as well as understand through analytics and tracking what's happening on your website when people get there to make the process better and more improved as you progress. So that's basically what we do in a nutshell, and a lot of that involves social media.
I can imagine. So, Janet, I think you've got some questions. I'm going to let the two of you run with this, and I'll be here monitoring.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Thomas, for being on. I've got like 9 or 10 questions, so just know that we got to line up questions. So just pace your answers appropriately.
Okay.
All right. So let me just start. I mean, these are questions that we've gotten from clients, I've gotten from clients, Valerie has. So I'm just going to jump right in. Does my business need to be on social media? I'm sure the answer is yes, but I'm sure you'll elaborate on that.
I get that all the time, and it's primarily from business owners who are wearing a lot of different hats within their businesses. They're providing services, they're selling products, and they're doing everything else. And it just kind of seems like one more thing to add to the shuffle. And, rightly or wrongly, I say, absolutely businesses need to be on social media. And it's really for two reasons. The first is that it allows you a cost-effective and quick method for talking to existing customers and creating that conversation and a lasting conversation with them. but it also allows you to communicate directly and indirectly to potential customers. And that means, not only being able to post something, say, on Facebook that a potential customer might see, but it also gives your best customers, your brand evangelists, the tools to showcase what you do and be your biggest supporter. And so we all have amazing products, we all have amazing services, but the best way we can get those out to the general public is letting other people sing our praises and showcase what we do. That social proof is huge for small businesses, and social media is very good at providing that social proof of having others talk well about what you do.
So can I just elaborate that on just one little bit?
Sure.
What I see a lot of businesses, small business owners not do is ask for that social proof, is to ask, share. Mm-hmm. Please share my content. Please share my Facebook page. Please share. For some reason, they seem hesitant to ask people to share, and I find that curious. Can you talk a little bit about your experiences with some of the people that you've worked with and how you get them to get into their mindset that asking, and maybe some techniques for how to do that?
Sure. In fact, that's a great question, because typically the clients that we work with, we advise the first social media campaign you set up is some sort of ongoing asking for a review of your services and your products. And the reason why is that not only does it build a digital trail of people reviewing your business and products and services online to give you that social proof, but it also allows you to showcase what happens when something goes wrong. Now, a lot of small business owners get really scared of the fact that, say if they email every customer they have, they could have a potential for somebody to write in, say, a Yelp review and say, Bob's Pizza was terrible, it was so slow, blah, 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 blah. What people want to know on social media and what they particularly look for online is how you're going to mitigate a bad situation. Because we all see the positive reviews, right? We all say, oh, I love Bob's Pizza, or, this shoe store is amazing. What people want to know, though, is how you're going to take care of them when something goes bad. So all the time I get concerns from business owners saying, I don't want to ask for reviews because it could potentially lead to some bad news. When I say that's great, because that gives you an opportunity to showcase to other potential buyers how you take care of them if and when something goes wrong. So I totally hear what you're saying about people feeling a little gun-shy about asking for reviews, but I would say that is the opportune time to showcase to people how you're going to take care of them when something goes wrong, and that's exactly what they really want to see.
Okay, I'm really glad that you brought up that point, because that's an advanced topic. I'm going to go back and kind of take a couple steps back on how you really even get started. But I'm glad we got there, because we might not have gotten that there. And I just think that's really important. And I've seen that over and over again. When I look at reviews and people say, yeah, it didn't work, but oh my gosh, they did a great job of fixing it. And like you said, that's more important to me than, oh, the product's great. All right, so let me just take a step back, because we kind of got to advanced topics right off the top. So what's the best way to get started with social media?
Sure. So I typically tell people there are 3 things you need to do to get started, and that's figure out who you're going to talk to, where you're going to talk to them, and what you're going to talk about. And this gets down to understanding that social media puts messaging and communication and gives that control to the consumer. It's no longer about top-down pushing messages out and people have to listen to it. They're given the opportunity to interact with you how and when they want to. So if your customers or say the people you want to be talking to are all on LinkedIn, you need to be on LinkedIn. You can't be hanging out on Facebook and then complaining about why you don't have any new customers if everybody who's going to be looking for you is on LinkedIn. So the first thing you absolutely have to figure out, again, is where you're going to talk to people and who you're going to talk to. And that can be typically new customers. We recommend you talking to existing customers and then starting the process of asking questions. And that then gets into what do you talk about. The biggest problem people have with social media, and businesses particularly, is twofold. The first thing is that they don't know what to talk about and they don't have it really scheduled. For people looking to get started with social media, the first thing you really need to do with your fans and followers on any platform is to start a conversation, and importantly, do that by asking a question or asking them what they want from you of value. So it's not telling them what your newest sale is or what your newest product is. It's actually going out and starting a conversation that's drawing information out from them and not only showing that they're important, but that you're listening to them and actually creating a real bond and a real conversation. And the second part of that then is really understanding what are you going to talk about, but plan it out. There's nothing worse than seeing a business who has a Facebook page or a Twitter account where they posted or tweeted like 3 times 8 months ago, and that's been it. You know, that's the exact opposite of what you want to have happen on social media because it shows you don't plan or you don't care. Having a consistent and planned message about what you're saying to those people on the platforms of your choice is the best way to get started and ensures long-term success.
Okay, I'm going to go back to something that you just said or started this conversation with. And so you said if your people are on LinkedIn, then don't be on Facebook, be on LinkedIn. If they're on Pinterest, then be on Pinterest. Can you give us some strategies for how I figure out where my people are? Like, how do I know that they're on LinkedIn? How is it really just the asking? Kind of give us some techniques on how to figure that out.
Sure. There's 2 ways to figure out, and I think what happens with a lot of people who are working the digital, we try to solve every problem digitally. But if you're a retail shop owner, if you have a lot of face-to-face conversations, imagine that you can actually just ask people face-to-face, what social media.
Well, that's a novel idea.
Imagine that, right? So, there's always that perspective. And that's a more basic approach, just asking people and having that, that offline conversation eventually foster an online one. But the second one to also check out, an easy way to kind of do this would be, for those of you who have websites who are using Google Analytics, Piwik, or any sort of web traffic analysis tool, you should be able to see where your traffic sources are coming from. So you can see if a majority of your social traffic is coming from Facebook or Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, whatnot. And that would give you the inference without asking people directly of where your traffic is coming from. But I think at the end of the day, the best thing to do is to ask people face-to-face to get started, particularly in your follow-up sequence about how people first found out about you. If you're good business owners will ask where their customers are coming from or how did you hear about this? And if you start seeing patterns about, I saw a review on you on Facebook or somebody talked you up on LinkedIn, obviously that's where you want to go.
Okay, I'm going to totally put you on the spot a little bit. But I coach hundreds of people in this program, and I guarantee someone either listening right now or listening to the recording will say, I'm just starting this business and I don't have any customers.
Right.
Like, do they use a model company to find out where their people are? Like, give us some advice on how do I find that when I'm starting and I don't have any customers? So where do I go online to market?
Right. So, to get started, at the end of the day, Facebook is going to be the bread and butter social media you could get started with if you are running a consumer product, and that's the little caveat I throw on there. If you're running a B2B product or you're talking primarily to business owners, you want to get started on LinkedIn. The key that I would say is that get started, but get started with one platform. So don't make the mistake of a lot of small businesses and think you have to get Facebook, YouTube, email, Twitter, and have 10 different places you need to be online. Start small and work into it. And then you'll eventually find out, particularly if you're using traffic analysis tools on your website, if there are other places you need to be focusing on, or if it's actually providing a return on investment, because you'll see where the traffic's coming from, you'll see if they're leading to sales, and you can adjust accordingly.
Awesome. That's gold. That's great. Okay. Let's just kind of go back to some basics. I kind of keep getting off my list of questions because I have questions. So please bear with me. How do I engage with fans or followers on Facebook? Because Facebook is probably the number one social media platform most people use. How do they effectively use it?
Well, again, it always goes to the, asking questions or, providing a venue for customer interaction. And so the obvious kind of example would be, Star Wars. Before they actually sold out to Disney, George Lucas and Lucasfilms was very good at allowing their fans to take the product they had offered and really put their own spin on it, or really provide their own thumbprint onto what they had been doing. Well, what does that mean? If you're a business or a product, you want to allow people to be brand evangelists, and instead of stifling that, you want to foster that creative environment. So, at the end of the day, that can lead into, say, if you're a retail or consumer product developer, does that mean you could do some sort of contest, some sort of video contest where people are using your product in innovative ways on YouTube, or they're doing product testimonials on Twitter. You want to be engaging your customers to where they're allowed to do their own thing on social media. That's really the big way, is allow people to put their own spin on things and allow the conversation to mature from there. I think a lot of businesses try to control it, and that's when you get into trouble. A lot of high-profile examples of when there's backlash is when companies try to, push or control a message that's not resonating with their fans or customers.
Excellent. All right, we're brand new again. What's the first thing I should try to do on social media? Is it Facebook? What's the first thing I should do?
The first thing I would say would actually be, when it comes to social media, is actually email. And that may seem a little counterintuitive, but the very essence of social media is any platform that gives your customers the ability to create and share. And if you're looking at which social media is the most effective, and this is even true for Live Out Loud, is email. If you are not doing email, you don't need to be worried about Facebook. You need to get started with the very basics first. And that is simply because at the end of the day, that's the most common social media that people use to communicate, to work with businesses or work with other products and services and keep up to date on what they're doing. A lot of people tend to forget that email truly is a social media by definition, and it is one of the most effective ways to get your message out there in a timely and cost-effective manner.
Okay, so Thomas, that is brilliant. In all my years, I've never heard that before, and I want to reiterate on that, because what we talk about in the 100K Challenge is your online and your offline marketing strategies. And the fastest way to building your database is your offline marketing strategies. It's your face-to-face, it's your speaking, it's your networking, it's your meetups, it's those kind of things. That's how you build your database. That's how you start your email marketing campaign. So I love that, because I never even thought of email as being a social, media, vehicle. So I love that. And so I just want to reiterate that by saying focus at first primarily on your offline marketing strategies. Your online marketing strategies, sure, but they're going to take longer. Offline, you could go to a meeting and sell something in an hour. So anyway, perfect. I love that, and I know we're getting short on time. So
and Janet, just to take that the next step, Janet, when we talk about getting started with social media, to go back to earlier to what we said, use email to foster that review us campaign. So if anybody purchases a product or service from you, have it automated to your system to where an email gets kicked out that says, we want to know how you did, please review us, and has links to the social channels, i.e. Yelp or Facebook or even your LinkedIn business profile page, to where people can actually go out then and review you. Make it easy for them, but help them have your email foster your other social media channels.
And I love that, because Thomas, I will tell you that I buy a lot of things. There's a lot that I do, and I can tell you that I have not one time ever had someone come back after I purchased something and said, "Give us a review." After I purchased in an email, "Thank you for buying such and such. Please give us a review on Facebook." I don't think I've ever received an email like that. So if
best time to get them.
If the people on the phone start implementing those kind of practices, chances are their competitors are not. And that can be a huge competitive advantage. So I totally love that. Mm-hmm. All right, did we talk about the biggest biggest mistakes that businesses make with social media? Mm-hmm. Not doing it, right?
Well, yeah, not doing it's one of them. There's actually two, and the biggest, well, we'll say three. The first is they try to do way too many platforms at once. So the big thing is try one, master it, and then move on. Don't try to do every single social media platform under the sun and fail at all of them. The second thing is that they don't plan out their content. When we work with clients, we try to plan out content with having 2 to 3 themes that we talk about for 12 to 18 months in advance. That is a great way to make sure you're on track with what you need to be talking about throughout the course of the year, but it also makes sure at that point when you're talking about your themes and messages, you're filling in the blanks versus trying to come up with something to say. And the third thing, and this is probably the biggest one that I see from small business owners, you have to truly understand that there's a difference between you and your business on Facebook or any social media. So the things you would say, do, share, and post on your personal pages, personal social media, may not absolutely be what you share on your professional pages or whatever you use for your business. And I'm sure we've all seen examples of this, but it really needs to be shared that there is a distinct line. And when you start blurring that line between your personal and business pages, you really ask for trouble.
So can you just elaborate a teeny bit on that? Because I get the concept, but can you just elaborate, or maybe give an example of where the line should be drawn or could be drawn?
Sure. So, I mean, we'll just say it this way. Typically during presidential years, politics will always get business owners into trouble. Now, whether you're on one side of the aisle, it doesn't matter. But the problem that people have is that they tend to take timely topics, put their own spin on them, and then that can get you into trouble or generate backlash among your customers and fans. So politics is an absolute no-no when it comes to social media stuff. And even if it's, just little cartoons or jokes or anything like that, better safe than sorry. Religion's another one, but even, jokes. I mean, you have to be very, very careful because especially with social media, it's very easy for something that is I won't say personal in nature, but something you would, use personally can be taken completely out of context and really put your business in a bad light in any number of topics.
Well, that's helpful. Perfect. All right. How often should I be posting or sharing content?
All right. So everybody here, I don't want you guys to be the dentist office that posts cute cat pictures 3 times a day. Your posting should be proportionate to your sales cycle. Okay? So what does that mean? If I am getting my oil change from you every 6 months or every 10,000 miles, I don't want to see you every other day. I need to be seeing you proportionate to how often I need to keep you top of mind association. For some businesses, it's going to be more. For some businesses, it's going to be less. But the thing is, you need to be sure you strike that right balance between providing value and being helpful and not being a nuisance, which I think too many businesses on social media think they need to be posting all the time to keep top of mind association with their clients and customers.
So that's brilliant. I have to say that's kind of a different topic than or answer than I was expecting, because most people say everybody should post once a day or twice a day. So I love that. We really are living in something that I'll call the attention economy. And at the end of the day, I think businesses will do well that respect their clients and customers' time and attention span and not ask more of it than that's truly needed. Did you use a proportionate to your sales cycle?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I thought that's in fact, a concept that I haven't necessarily. I'm going to steal that concept. Thank you very much, Thomas. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Just a couple more questions. First, how can I tell if my social media is working or not?
So 2 ways. One, you need to have set goals to where people are either visiting pages, they're having social goals like they're liking a page, sharing a page, or whatnot, or they're signing up for something. And you can measure that through, again, Google Analytics or Piwik or any website traffic analysis tool. So what does that mean? Say if you're sharing an event where you're having a free webinar or something like that, you can set up code to where you can see how many people show up to that page and then either sign up for the event or attend the event or whatnot. But you really need to make sure that you're putting goals to your social media so you can actually measure them, because too many people, don't measure social media effectively. They'll say, well, we got, 10 likes of this, cute cat picture. All right, but did that get you any new clients? Did it get you any new sales? Did it build any brand appreciation? So at the end of the day, anything you can do to measure outcomes and your goals is what you need to be doing to tell if your social media is working.
So let me ask you to elaborate on that question just a little bit, because what I heard you say primarily, and I could be completely wrong, which is why I'm asking you to elaborate. What I heard was you were talking primarily about the non-paid social media presence, not the Facebook presence or social media presence. So can you elaborate a little bit more on the difference between what do I do in the free world and what do I do in the paid world?
Right. So there's multiple ways, at the end of the day, whether we're talking to someone through an ad or through a post, we want to be having some sort of outcome as a result of it. Are they signing up for an event? Are they signing up for a product or service? Are they buying something? What you need to do is structure the social media interaction in a way to where they're either visiting a page or doing something that you can then measure, particularly with say a traffic analysis tool or something like that. But what you don't want to get into a position is where you're doing something on social media and you can't understand if it's having an effect or not. And I think a lot of times people try to do something big on social media, but they don't structure it in a way to where they can tell if there's a traffic burst or if there's a sales or product burst as well. And then they're putting themselves in a position where they can't truly measure if what they did was worthwhile or not.
All right, so I know we're getting close to the end of our time, and maybe we can get a couple. Well, actually, I have a coaching call, but let's see if we can go, because I have to ask you this question. This is coming kind of from me. So, so Facebook ads. When do you know when you go from the free to go to the paid? Like, when do you decide, or should everybody be doing Facebook ads? Kind of talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so here's what it gets down to, what everybody needs to know with Facebook. At the end of the day, Facebook pages are pay to play. So unless you have personal relationships and you can drive sales interactions through your personal profile, you need to operate with the understanding that anything you do with your Facebook business page is going to require advertising of some sort. Once Facebook became a publicly traded company, it all became about the revenue, and they really throttled down the number of exposures businesses would see on their Facebook pages without paying. So it's great because now you understand that you'll get success, or you'll be able to reach an audience when you pay to play or when you have a dedicated budget. But just know that ahead of time you're going to have to pay to reach those people.
And then can you talk a little bit about promoting a post versus buying advertising with the demographics and all of that?
So when you do an ad or you do a post, there are technically and structurally some different variations as to how much text you can put, where you can put the links and whatnot. But the best thing that Facebook offers any small business is the ability to highly target people on Facebook. Even today for Live Out Loud, I was able to create a couple of ads to where we're targeting people within 5 miles of Philadelphia who have bought online purchases last month to women who are between the ages of 55 and 60. The targeting you can do is really outstanding. Now, you can do that with both the post and an ad. The difference is, how are you interacting with your earned audience and your prospective audience and your relative audience. So essentially, you use posts to share news with people that you already know, and you're extending that conversation. It may not be a sales promotion or pitch, but it's something to continue the conversation, whereas ads are typically used to bring new customers and clients into your sales funnel and convert them over to new clients and then existing clients.
Okay, can I ask one other question? I've had clients who say, I have, 5,000 friends on Facebook, and they're not generating any revenue. So what would be the first simple thing you would tell them to do to get them from liking me or liking me and or liking my page to money in the bank?
Sure. The big thing is understanding how are you structuring your social media around your sales funnel. The biggest thing you need to be talking about on your social media, or at least referencing to or pushing people to, are your entry points on your sales funnel. That takes the conversation from just hanging out, sharing pictures and whatnot, to actually pushing people towards buying products and services. A lot of times, I think people don't make the full connection and build their social media to feed or complement their sales funnel. I mean, for businesses like me who have multiple business services, we have 4 or 5 different starter level services, but that's all we talk about on our social media. We don't talk about the higher level services. We just talk about the entry points when we do talk about service and products to get people started down that funnel, where the other automated elements, particularly with direct mail and then email, take over. So to turn people from the friends and fans, you have to make sure, are you creating a lasting conversation that eventually pushes people towards the sales funnel. I think too many people, even in real life, we see the problem where too many people are reluctant to ask for the money in a face-to-face setting. They have the same issue on a digital setting.
Excellent. All right, and my last question, I know we're over, but my last question is, how can I make it easier to manage channels?
So this is a good one. A lot of times business owners get really frustrated with all the different websites they have to log into and passwords and whatnot. We recommend Hootsuite. And it's a great tool you can use not only to manage all of your platforms in one place, but it also gives you the opportunity to schedule posts for the future so you can manage your communications a little bit easier. But it's really great at setting up listening tools. So you can set up searches for hashtags on Twitter or Facebook or @ responses or other items, to where it gives you an automated tool to listen to the pulse of your audience, your prospective or existing customers, to get a sense of what's going on that day. The biggest thing with Hootsuite, it allows you to do that all in one point, and most social media managers use a tool like that to make their jobs a heck of a lot easier.
Awesome.
Wow.
All right, Val, I know we're a little out of time, but I got a little carried away.
I could tell, and for very good reason. Thomas, you are an ace. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
With some really great things. I loved the post proportional to your sales cycles. Love that. I know that Janet's going to echo that one. And the other one is, we hear a lot of people questioning, so what platform should I be on? How many should I be on? And your remark of try one and master it, and then move forward. That one was a good one.
Absolutely.
And then I think this one kind of cycles back to how Janet helped structure the 100K marketing plans and the 5 online, the 5 offline. But your comment of plan 12 to 18 months out, your theme and your messages, so that would run right along with your revenue model, and then you'd know exactly what you were going to talk about. Because so many.
Funny how that works, huh?
What they want to talk about. So, that interconnection of all the different pieces and how it fits into the business, the solid business. And then the last remark of turn your friends and fans into clients. And that is a very tricky one, and it needs to be done delicately, but I don't think that there's any harm in asking, and especially if they're saying that they like on your business page. I think that's why they're there. And I think a lot of people are just nervous to ask. So that's a good one. So, Thomas, thank you very much. I just got a text back from Laurel, and her answer to our previous question is yes. So we'll be posting Thomas's information onto the Facebook page. You guys can call him, reach out to him, hire him if you need some help with your social media. He's the guy. It's Dark Horse. Isn't it Dark Horse Media?
DarkHorseGroup.co.
darkhorse.group.co. I will post that up. Again, Thomas, thanks for the time out of your busy schedule. Janet, thanks so much. You probably already jumped off. So thanks for being on. The next call, you guys, is set for the 3rd Tuesday in September. That's the 15th of September, 4 p.m. Pacific. Again, everyone, thanks for being here. Thomas, thank you very much for the expertise and the information. Thrilled, absolutely thrilled that you're part of the Live Out Loud team.
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Take care. Take care. Take care. Take care.